Hi friends, today we're going to read the story of The Legend of Spookley, the Square Pumpkin. It is by Joe Torino and it is illustrated by Susan Banta. One day in the pumpkin patch, the strangest little pumpkin hatched. Spookley wasn't like his friends. Where they had curves, he had ends. Can you guess which one is Spookley? Spookley was different. He was odd. He was rare. Spookley, the pumpkin, wasn't round. He was square. While the round pumpkins had fun rolling along, poor Spookley sat there, shaped all wrong. He tried and tried with all his might, but he couldn't budge. He just sat tight. The other pumpkins teased him because he was square. Spookley wished he was round and could roll everywhere. That is, until one night when they all discovered it's fine to be round when the weather is fair, but there are times when it's better to be a square. Halloween was just a day away. When the mighty storm blew across the bay, it tossed the round pumpkins to and fro. It snapped their vines, then off they'd go, bouncing left, slamming right, banging, bashing. What a sight! Spookley sat there, filled with fright, but glad to be a square that night. Suddenly, the fence gave way. 3 pumpkins rolled out into the bay. Spookley knew what must be done. It was up to him. He was the one. He teetered, he tottered, he tipped, he tried, and finally flipped. He was on his side. And he tipped, and he flipped, and he flipped, and then he stopped. See him? Right in the gap where the fence had snapped, he blocked the way. The hole was capped. All the pumpkins shouted, "Hooray! Spookley the square pumpkin had saved the day." Then pumpkin hit him with a whack. He thought his shell would start to crack. Then another one hit him with a thump, and another with a smack. Then one by one, a ton of pumpkins piled on the stack, with a bang and a bash, and a crunch and a crash, and then it all went black. At dawn, when the storm had stopped, the farmer came out and checked his crop. He picked his pumpkins up one by one and laid them out in the warm, dry sun. And then, when the last was moved away, the farmer could see what had saved the day. An odd-shaped pumpkin, short and dense, was wedged against the broken fence. Its shell was bruised, its stem was too, and there was brave little Spookley standing straight and strong and true. Right then and there, the farmer knew of all the seeds he'd ever sown, Spookley's were the most special that had ever grown. And the next year, when it was time to sow, he sowed those seeds in every row. He watered and weeded and watched them grow, and oh, the morning about mid-June, when the pumpkin patch begins to bloom, there were tiny pumpkins everywhere, hundreds and hundreds, and most of them square. Some were cubes, and some triangular. Some were flat, and others triangular. There was a bed of bright red ones and 2 rows of blue. There were polka dot pumpkins and rainbow ones, too. There were thousands of colors and hundreds of shapes. Oh, what a garden variety makes. Now, every year on Halloween, Spookley's patch is quite a scene. People come from far and near to see what wonders grew that year. They stop, they gawk, they gaze, they stare. Then they pick a pumpkin that's round, triangular, or perfectly square. What kind of pumpkin would you pick? Now you know the story of how Spookley grew. Maybe someday, if you tell someone too, they'll go tell someone who'll go tell another, and maybe one day we all will discover you can't judge a book or a pumpkin by its cover. I really like that story. It tells us that we can't judge people and that we may all look different, but God has made us all special. And even though we're different, we are all the same. We're all brothers and sisters in Christ. Until next time, have a good day.